7th grade, I realized I was trans. It wasn't the first time I thought about it, and there had certainly been moments throughout my life, but this was the first time that I really recognized that who I was didn't fit the body I was born in. Didn't fit the body I was born in. Over the next few years, I experimented with a lot of labels. Gender empathetic, pangender, gender fluid. I cycled through them trying to figure out which one fit the person I wanted to be, but none of them really did. Eventually, I just decided to be non-gender conforming. I'm not really labeled to encompass my ever-fluctuating feelings. In high school, I came out to my two closest friends at the time, and they supported me. And that was great. And that was it. That was all I needed. But as I grew more confident in my identity, more sure of myself, I found that their support felt minimalistic. There were days where I felt like they still saw me as a girl, or where they seemed annoyed or bored whenever I brought up my trans identity. And then I felt guilty, like I was making this big deal out of nothing. I mean, they supported me. That was what mattered, right? It wasn't until an early morning in 10th grade that I realized that their support didn't match what I needed. It was shortly after the death of Next Benedict, a 16-year-old non-binary teen from Oklahoma who had passed away after being attacked in their school's washroom. And I was deeply saddened by their story, but it also made me afraid. I know that there are people who are homophobic and transphobic in this school. I see it. But I've never been a victim of anti-trans violence myself. But that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And that doesn't mean that doesn't happen. And when I told my friend about this fear that I would become a statistic, she brushed it aside and said that that only happens in the States. This was during a time where there was rising anti-trans violence, hate, anti-trans sentiment across Canada. And that was when I realized that no matter how hard I tried to make them understand, they couldn't. They didn't understand that I and trans youth face the higher risks of suicide, poverty, hate crimes, and my cisgender peers in Canada. This wasn't their experience, and they couldn't comprehend it. Regrettably, our friendship ended and collapsed under the weight of our many differences. But I realize now that it would never have been meant. I needed people who were willing to listen, to understand, to take the time, to try their best to hear what I had to say and came to realize. People who loved me for my transness, saw it as a part of me, a part that they chose to love. Though it's taken a long time, I have found friends who admit who are part of that. Friends who don't make excuses or leave me feeling like I'm overreacting. And this has caused me to realize who I want to be. I want to be someone who embraces my roots, but I also want to grow beyond. And I don't want to be afraid to leave behind beliefs which no longer reflect who I am.